Hey guys, I just want to start things off by saying thank you to those of you who watched last week's vlog and are returning this week. Last time I checked, last week's vlog went to 33 views in the first 2 days. I haven't checked since. But thank you so much. That was incredible to see that. Even if this week is 20 or it's not as many, that was just awesome to see that first time, that support from you guys. So what I'm planning on talking about tonight is just kind of how this week was, what we did this weekend. We had some interesting adventures. Giving you guys a tour of my office, and then pretty sure I've decided on what I want my side job to be. So I'm going to just kind of give you guys a little introduction into what I'm going to be doing. So since I last talked to you guys, I had the rest of my school week and then the weekend. If you know me, you kind of have to know me pretty well to know that my dream pickup is a 92 to 96 Ford F-150 two-door extended cab. Sounds specific. It is specific, and that's because it's a dream, and you can be specific in your dreams. I have wanted this pickup ever since about middle school, freshman year, high school. I needed to use my dad's old 90s Ford F-150 to get to and from school because I didn't feel like riding my bike every morning, because who wants to ride their bike to school at 8 something in the morning in the summer? Not me. So, I fell in love with it. He ended up selling it to my cousin, and I just kind of went, well, one day I'll own one. Since knowing my husband officially, so since we became friends, which was June of 2014, right after we graduated high school, he has had 4 or 5 Ford pickups in that time. He currently has 2 of them. He has Earl and Hank. Hank is a 70s or 80s model Ford, and then he's got a newer 2000s Ford that we went and bought. But yeah, I've just been a Ford girl for as long as I can remember. And we've been looking for my dream truck since we started dating. And that was kind of something that we've always just had on the back plate, but we weren't actively looking, but sometimes we were actively looking. But anyway, it just so happened that I found, anytime a Ford would come up on my phone and Marketplace on Facebook or New Wilson Connections, I'd run over to them and I'd go, oh, hey, listen to this. So it's a 93 Ford F-150, this, and this. And I'd read him the miles, and I would read him if there was anything wrong with it, why are they selling it, where it is, and it was hard. It's hard to find a 90s model Ford right now because either the people that bought them right after high school when they first came out still have them. Parents are buying them for their teenagers, or a lot of them was turned in for the cash for clunkers when Obama was in office. So it's been really hard. Let me tell you, if you pick a truck that is popular at the time and try to find it, wait. Or just be ready for your hopes and dreams to be crushed every time. Anyway, that was a little dramatic. Anyway, so I found one on Facebook and I said, hey, Zach, listen to this. It is a 93 Ford F-150 two-door extended cab. And I said, it says it's an Eddie Bauer edition. What does that mean? And Zach tells me, oh, that's really rare and all these things. So he messages the guy, and the guy says, well, someone tried to break into my pickup a few months ago. So the part where you put the key in and you turn it, that's called the tumbler, they broke that. So instead of using a key, there's a little bypass switch under the dash that you can flick and push a button. And Zach goes, no problem. I have parts to fix that out at the ranch. We're good to go. And he goes, well, they got away with the stereo. That's fine. Stereos are cheap. I mean, the body on this thing looked awesome. And it was a limited edition. And it was just so cool. So Zach goes, where is it? And I said, some place called Carson, North Dakota. Look it up. Carson is 3.5 hours away. So for those of you who are from North Dakota and know North Dakota a little bit, when you're driving past Dickinson on the interstate towards Bismarck, if you take the exit to Glen Ullin, go through Glen Ullin, go to a little town named Elgin, go through Elgin, and a couple more miles, you're at Carson. It's tiny. So we pack Huntley up and we leave the house by 8 o'clock in the morning on Saturday morning. Get going, we get there. And it doesn't look as nice as it did in the pictures, but I'm hopeful. It's an old pickup. I'm hopeful. I stay in the pickup with Huntley and I try to get her to eat lunch, and Zach is out and he's talking to the guy and he's walking around and he's looking around, and he gets in the truck and he goes to test drive it, and I watch him and he's got his hand on the shifter and he like barely flinches and the shifter drops and he can't get it to go in gear, and I'm like, oh no, I'm not getting this pickup. There's something seriously wrong with it. So he gets it in gear and he drives off, and he drives, and the guy comes back out, and sweetest guy. He's from Oklahoma, mid-40s, early 50s, sweetest guy. And he's talking to me, and Zach comes back and gets out, and he kind of looks at the truck again, and him and I have not said a word to each other since we've gotten there, like at all. So I don't know what he's about to say to this guy. And he goes, yeah, man, it's just a little rougher than we're looking for right now. So sorry. And my heart dropped to my toes. I was so sad. So we say goodbye and we get in the truck, and I'm not even talking. And Zach goes, babe, that truck was a mess. There was no way we were getting it home. The brake, it didn't even have brakes. The brake pedal was sitting on the floor. That's why he couldn't get it to shift. And it felt like an I-beam was going to come out, and it was a mess. And this guy was asking like $12.50 for it. So not a lot, but it definitely wasn't worth $12.50. So my heart sinks, and I go on Facebook and I'm like, well, maybe there's one nearby. Maybe there's one nearby. And there isn't, but I found one in Williston. Yay, we drove 3.5 hours one way to find one in Williston. Save it on my phone. Zach says he'll look at it when we get home. Stop in Dickinson. We go to Cashwise, which, by the way, if any of you have ever gone to Dickinson's Cashwise, yeah, if we had that in Williston, I would not shop at Walmart, because that thing is about the size of our Walmart, and it is better stocked, and it has a better selection, and the celiac friendly things and the gluten-free things, like, it was amazing. So we stopped and got things there, and then we had to find a park to take Huntley to let her run around and go to the bathroom, and then we headed home, and we aren't even to Belfield, so we're still like 2 hours away from Williston. And I get a notification that the truck I found in Williston had already sold. It had been posted for 3 hours and had sold. So I look at Zach, I'm like, all right, that's it. I'm done. I'm done hoping that I have a truck. Maybe if we stop looking for one, we'll find one. So we get home. We left our house at 8 o'clock in the morning. We got home at like 5:30. It was a long day, and Huntley and I really hadn't been out of the truck. So then Sunday, Zach went with me up to my classroom, and he was incredible, and he vacuumed the entire room while I worked on my lesson plans for this week. And then we went to the grocery store, and we got our groceries, because that's like our little date thing. When Huntley goes to sleep and takes her big afternoon naps on the weekend, we go to the grocery store. And we were driving home, and I got a notification from Marketplace on Facebook saying, miscellaneous items for sale. So I click on the notification just really to clear it, because are you guys like me, where you can't have a single notification. Like, everything has to be cleared. You can't have a 1 somewhere randomly when you're swiping through your phone. If you're like me, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not like me, I hope I never see your phone, because it might throw me into a fit. Anywho, and so I clear it, and the first thing is this pickup, and it's kind of like a off-white, and then there's like a beige-ish tan, and it's a two-tone, and it's really pretty, and it looks really clean. So, I don't know why, but I said, "Hey, Zach." He goes, "Yeah?" I said, 1995 Ford F-150 two-door extended cab. And I start reading everything, and I read that there's a seal busted in it. And I go, "That's it. He's not going to want it because he's not going to want to do anything mechanical with it. He just wants to get it so I can drive it." And he goes, "Well, send it to me." I think he really just said it out of pity because he felt bad after what we went through the day before. And he goes, "Well, send it to me." So I send it to him, and we get home, and I'm putting away groceries, and I get done, and I look at him, and he goes, "Well, I messaged the guy." You did? "Yeah, it's a seal in the underneath the transmission, and he had it and drove it for about 100 miles before the seal blew," and on and on and on, and we're going back and forth, and the guy's asking way more than it's worth at the point. The fact that it technically doesn't run because you put in transmission fluid and it just basically pours out the bottom. And so Zach goes, "Yeah, I don't know." So he messages the guy and says, "I'm really sorry, but if you have trouble selling it, let me know." And the guy instantly replies back and goes, "How much are you offering me for it?" He goes, "Well, are you available? Because I can give you a better offer than I can sight unseen." And the guy goes, "I work evenings, but I'm home right now." So Zach's like, "Should I go? Should I do it? Should I bring the cash? What should I do?" And he's asking me all these questions. He's like, "Are you sure? What do you want?" And I just looked at him. I'm like, I just spent 7 hours in a car yesterday in a pickup with 2 of them with Huntley sitting between you and I on the front seat. I'm not getting my hopes up. You make the decision, and you do you. So he heads out to this guy's place, and it's like 45 minutes, and I don't hear a word. And I think probably wasn't the smartest of me to send him off to a stranger's house with only Huntley as protection, because you pet Huntley, and she's no longer scary. So 45 minutes go, and I text him, and I go, "Are you safe?" And I get a text back, "Yep, and I'm bringing your pickup home." It's still, I haven't been able to drive it just because he needs to go to Napa and order the seal and then fix it. I haven't been able to drive it, so it hasn't hit me yet, but I've wanted this pickup for 8 years, and I finally have it, and it's incredible, and I'm so thankful that he just went, and he did it, and he bought it, and he found it, and like, he was looking it over, and I was looking it over, and he said, "This is the best body I have seen on a 90s pickup, like, ever." Like, my CRV, my 2007 CRV, probably has more dents and scratches in it than this pickup does. It's awesome. If you have me on Facebook, I'm uploading photos tonight of it. Well, today's Tuesday. This video probably won't be up till Wednesday or Thursday, but I'm uploading pictures of it. It's awesome. So we had this big crazy headache of a weekend. I mean, it was fun. It was really fun going to these little towns and driving with Zach and Huntley, and it was a really fun adventure and just a fun time spent, just him and I and Huntley. But then we found the truck in Williston. It was just funny. And then also coincidentally, I talked to the pastor at our school and found out he was looking at it on Bisman Saturday night and was thinking about getting it, and then I bought it Sunday. So, sorry, Pastor Adam. And then Monday morning came for school, so yesterday morning, and our neighbor right over here, well, not our neighbor, the person who lived in this house years ago planted a tree right in the front corner of their yard, and they have a retaining wall like 2 feet high, 2 feet high. Well, this tree, the roots have pushed the retaining wall out, so instead of sitting like this, it sits like this, and it like juts out, and I usually don't have to worry about it because I park in the back of the driveway, but this weekend I had to park in the front, and I'm backing out yesterday morning, and apparently my steering wheel was turning, and I didn't know. I was buckling up and adjusting my heat and my radio and whatever, and I always call my mom on the way to school, so I was getting ready to call her, and all of a sudden I hear a crunch, and my car comes to a complete stop. And I just stop, and I put it in drive, and I pull away. And Zach's behind me in his big diesel pickup. And he doesn't really know what's going on, and I get out, and I see plastic hanging off my car. And I'm yelling, and I'm flagging him down. I'm like, Zach, Zach, Zach! And he, like, opens his door. But I'm trying to, like, kind of be respectful because, like, my neighbors are still sleeping. And he's like, what? And I was like, I wrecked my car! Get over here! So he comes over. Well, the part of the wall that's, like, broke, my wheel liner, so that plastic liner that is above your wheel that protects, like, dirt and stuff from going in your car, got hooked on it and ripped out. And he's like, well, do you want me to cut it off? And I was like, I don't have time. I gotta get to school. So I literally drove to school and home with this giant piece of, like, plastic sticking straight out of my car. I'm like, yep, that's what happened. So I was talking to a couple coworkers, and they knew I was going to Carson for this pickup, and I'm like, no, I didn't get that pickup, but I got this pickup instead, and this is how I got it. And I was like, oh yeah. And then, by the way, this morning, kind of hit a wall. And I think sometimes my coworkers look at me and they're like, how do you function on a day-to-day basis? Like, guys, this blonde is not from a box. It's not. But yeah, so that was a kind of a long story, but we drove to Carson and didn't get a pickup and came home and found a pickup in our backyard, basically. And then I hit a wall with my car and pulled some plastic out of it. Zach still hasn't looked at my car in the daylight, so we don't know if it's anything worse than that. So next week's vlog might be talking about the fact that it's worse. But yeah, so that was my week. That was my weekend. That was my week so far. Tomorrow I start my second Bible study ever. We're doing the Armor of God, and I'm pretty excited. 2 of my coworkers are going to go with me, so that'll be pretty fun. So now I will grab this, and I apologize for this next part if it's shaky or anything, but I'm going to flip this around if I can figure that out. Maybe not. I don't know if I can figure that out. So this might be interesting, but oh, hey, this works. Okay, so sorry, don't want to make you dizzy. So behind me, like I said, is my bumblebee wall. This wall took me longer than I'd like to admit to paint because I had to tape it off and paint the one color and then tape it off and paint the other, and they had to dry, and our basement's cold, so even in the summer it took forever. But I love it. It's supposed to be like gold and black. That's kind of my whole office theme. And then if we turn, we have our filing cabinet and my printer, some random cords, and then we have my laptop and some random stuff on my desk. And then we have this beautiful desk that took us like 2 days to put together because, well, I kept telling Zach that I was going to do it, and I I wasn't able to do it. So we have some of my favorite books ever. Fun fact, I have never received a book for any holiday, and I received 12 books for Christmas because that was the only thing I asked for Christmas. Anyway, so then we just have some other random things there. We have my Choose Happy sign I got from my sister-in-law for like my first Christmas. My degrees are kind of fallen, but I have my associate's degree from Wilson State College and then my high school diploma. We have, if Sierra ever watches this, and I don't know if she even watched my first one, that was her birthday present. So a nice collage of all of our pretty faces. And then I have this Mr. and Mrs., and then I have a picture of Zach and I from Sarah and Derek's wedding. You have my little organizer, and this is my little setup for my vlogs. Then you have just some organizers, this little cute mason jar thing I found at a rummage sale. Is that even in it? Yep. Okay. Okay, these are my favorite. Let's see if I can get it without the light. So, they are gold with white. They're bucks. Have you ever seen those pillows? Well, these are those in like a little bin. So then when you do it the other way, then they reverse. And I just think that is the coolest thing ever. So I just have a bunch of storage in here, books, envelopes, thank you cards, stuff like that. Then you come to my cute little built-in cabinets that was here before I moved in. Love them. Up here is really nothing can go up here because that's where our breaker box is and there's a bunch of wires and stuff in there. But down here are my books that I've decided to keep from college and a lot of extra supplies and just kind of all kinds of stuff. This is kind of like my little happy little hideaway. Like all my little supplies are here. Then we have probably my favorite wall in the house. It's like this old like little shipboard stuff. I don't know how to pronounce it. Every time I think I pronounce it right, someone corrects me. But I love this. And then behind me here, I don't have anything written on it. I have this giant chalkboard paint I used. And I made this, I'll kind of show you this giant square or rectangle. And you can use chalk on it. So I use chalkboard paint to paint this. And I just, I can write some little notes on it or anything like that if I want to. And I'm super excited for when I actually remember to buy the paint to do this. And then down here on the floor is the TV that Zach needs to still mount on my wall so that I'm good to go. So I'm going to apologize for that video. See, if I was a professional, I would edit all this and there'd be lighting and I would know how to turn my camera around so that all of that doesn't happen. But I'm not. I'm not a professional. And I'm not. So I apologize for that. And if that makes you dizzy, then just look away and just listen to me talking. And then lastly, the last thing I want to talk about is I think I figured out what my side job is going to be. First, I forgot this. This was the painting we did for my bachelorette party. We went to Quick Draw Studios downtown, and I thought I was picking the easiest painting, and then you look at mine and you realize I obviously wasn't. But super cool. I had everyone that was there. So like my bridesmaids, and my mother-in-law and my mom, I had all of them come and sign this. So it's super special to me. Anyway, but my side job. So it's gonna be photography. And it's not gonna be the kind of photography where I go and I take pictures of people. It's gonna be photography where I take pictures of landscapes, flowers, just like objects, nature, stuff like that, animals. And I take those pictures I haven't worked out the details. I think what it's going to be is I take those pictures, I upload them to a site, whether it's a website or a Facebook page or whatever, and you order and you say, I want this picture of the rose in a 5x7 mat. I know that's really small, but it's the first thing I could think of. So then I would take that photo and I would upload it and order the mat for you, and you would pay for the price of the mat or for the photo, and then you would pay a couple extra dollars, which would be like you buying the rights to have that photo from me. So if it was, I haven't figured out prices or anything, but if, you are buying a 5x7 rose, and for me to order the mat of it is $10, then you would pay $12 or $15 or something for that, just to kind of be like, hey, these are the rights. It's the rights to my photo. So I had one example here, and this was one that I took when I was in Paris, and it's kind of hard to see because it reflects my phone, but so it would be something kind of like this. So this is a picture that I took while I was in Paris of the Eiffel Tower at night, and then I framed it. So you could even just say, hey, I want this kind of frame, or give me a frame. And then, literally there are so many options that you could probably end up getting a photo from me for like $5. Like, it cost me $97 or 97 cents to print at Walmart, and then you just pay me for it and you have the frame for it. It's so easy. We could be so flexible on it. But it would just be how many of you go to stores like Real Deals and buy their framed photos and you have no idea where it's from or who took it or anything? This would be, you could say, this is from the Theodore Roosevelt Park and Haley Smith took it. You could say, this photo is from the Eiffel Tower and it was taken by Haley Smith after she climbed to the top up here. I don't know. I think that'd be really cool. I don't know when I'm going to start it or when I'm going to get off the ground. So if it's something that you'd be interested, if you want pictures, if you have a specific picture that you want me to try and take, I can definitely do that. Right now I have 3 memory cards sitting in front of me. I have another one in my camera. The one in my camera is of like Medora in the North Unit and the South Unit and the Painted Canyons, because it's everything from Zach and I's from our honeymoon. But here there's pictures from our family farm by Zoll. So there's some really cool old buildings in that and nature in that. Here's Germany. This whole thing is of Germany. So I went to Amsterdam, Berlin, Paris, London, and I lived outside of Cologne. So imagine the pictures that are on here. So cool. So cool. This is from in Atlanta, a museum, a zoo, birds, another North Unit section. So there's so many that I already have that I would just, I could have a really good base with. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I know that's what I'm going to do. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it. So with that being said, this is almost a 30-minute video. That is too long. I apologize. I will work on shortening it, unless you guys want 30-minute videos. I don't know. But with that, I am going to close. I am going to tell you guys to have a wonderful week. And if you guys want, I will be back next week. Bye.